Brett, you've got the selection that every coach sort of wants to have at the moment. You've got a relatively healthy list. How hard was it for this week?
We've got selection this afternoon. We've sort of had we've had a look at the Oppo meeting and things like that. So yeah, it's a tough dilemma. I think there's players that who are knocking on the door and will be very stiff to miss out. So yeah, that's a good headache to have. And we've got the Warnock-Hampson battle that continues, and Houlihan's very close. Austin's now put his name up after a few good weeks. McLean, Joseph, Armfield missed out last week, so yeah, it's getting pretty hard.
Much was made of your forward structure as well, with having Cruiser back. How much is that likely to change in the next few weeks? Is it sort of you're just going to wait and see what happens there?
Yeah, we'll sort of let Jared go through his recovery there, so we'll find out a little bit later in the week if he's in the team. So that would give us another headache. Do we play 3 talls, and how does that work? Which we sort of haven't gone down that path since about round 2 or 3. So yeah, that's another headache. But yeah, we'll just see how we go.
So will he be named, Jared Wade?
He probably will be named, unless he's done some running and that. Unless he pulled up sore this afternoon, then we wouldn't name him at all. Take no risk. It's no good playing tricks. You only trick yourself. So yeah, we wouldn't name him if he wasn't a chance. Yep.
How hard will it be to perhaps start having to tell a guy who hasn't done a whole lot wrong that he's out of the team? It's probably not a problem you've had.
No, that's usually we haven't had that problem, and but what it does do, it keeps everyone on edge, and I suppose they're all challenging each other. And even to watch training today in some of the aspects that we're doing, they're so competitive about whether it's shadow work or things like that. They're really putting pressure on each other, which is really good.
Ryan Houlihan's been a really important really important part of the team the last 2 or 3 years. Obviously, he's had injury. He's been in good form in the VFL.
Yep.
How do you see him slotting the side, sort of across the half-forward line, going to September?
We'll have to get him into the team, but his form's been good at VFL level. He was very close last week. We used Bauer as probably a safety net to give Jamison a rest if we could, and that worked out really well. So he probably would have come in if it was a normal setup and Jamison was, perfect to go, but we wanted to make sure that we looked after him, and that'll be the dilemma that we have this afternoon. Do we bring Ryan in? Does Paul stay in? A couple of players have probably been down a little. They'll probably have to get going and make sure they have a good game this week.
Is Jamison okay?
He's fine. Yeah, no, it was good. It was just something that we thought we'd deload him a little bit by the game, and we had that opportunity. There's been some weeks we've had plans, but just the way the game's panned out in circumstances, you can't actually take players off.
Is that something you intend to do a bit more through the rest of the season, resting some of your senior players?
Oh, it'd be great if you could have that opportunity, but it'll depend exactly where the game sits, and the 4 points are the most valuable. So we'll be chasing them, and if we get the opportunity, yes, we might assess it a bit different, maybe put a player in a different position, but we're making sure that we're going to win the game first.
Swans have really gone under the radar this year, Brett, amongst many. How do you see this weekend's clash?
Oh, they're just... They're one that when you come and play the Swans, you're in for a scrap fight, you name it, it'll be on. And yeah, that'll be a really good challenge for us. I think it was one of the games that have in this season that's really kick-started our group and helped create some belief. And they didn't have Grundy last time, and this time they do. So Grundy and Melcheski in, so that'll be a little bit of a different task for us. But yeah, it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we know it's going to be maybe 70, 80 tackles each team. The contest will be tough. There'll be no space and time, so it'll be a good challenge.
Certainly not one you have to worry about your blokes getting ahead of themselves with the recent history against the Swans, is it?
No, that's right. I think where they sit, and they're sort of pretty much a game behind us, they're breathing right down our neck. So I think just where they sit in the ladder, and probably the last 5 or 6 outings and the record that they've had against us, I think the group know exactly what to expect.
It's a sign of how your group's coming along, that those sorts of records are starting to turn in your favour now, isn't it? Like these things we've spoken about before becoming less and less of a factor for Carlton.
Yeah, it is. It's probably a bit like our interstate record. We're trying to break as many of those records, and just winning the 4 points actually does that, and you get belief and confidence. And even last week, you know, it was just great to see our supporters. You know, we had 43,000 people at the Brisbane game. You know, it's just great to hear the crowd. And I think our record, which is, as you were talking about records, I think our record is 45,000 against the Swans from attendance. It'd be great to see 46 there, you know, get all our members there and make, I suppose, the environment really difficult for them, because when we go interstate, we know the crowd's behind the interstate teams. We've got, you know, Sydney and West Coast coming up. Get everyone to the footy Sunday, fantastic, and cheer the boys home.
I was going to say, how much confidence do you take from the last time you played, given it was the first time you've been in the season for a long time?
Yeah, I think we get a fair bit of confidence, but I think it's more about the continual, you know, when we hit KPIs and some of the stats that we've really chased this year to make sure that we hit the benchmark on all the time, and I think that's created the confidence. Yes, beating individual teams, but I think the way we are playing has given us more confidence than probably just beating individual teams.
What are those KPIs? I mean, what are the critical ones for you this year? Is it the tackling, I suppose, the pressure?
Yeah, I think we probably nearly covered it off. It's yeah, it's probably the tackle pressure and the contested ball. I think the combination of both has been a big indicator for us, and that's given us the ability to restrict the opposition to inside 50, and then when you do that, you actually restrict their score. So it's been fantastic. The heat on the footy and the way we've applied ourselves has been first class.
This is becoming a real breakout year for Carlton after the last few years, you know, really the last decade that you've been through. Can you just talk a bit about how maybe the mood around here and with what you're seeing with the supporters is changing? Like, you know, instead of being in trouble, you're really starting to push up the ladder, and the old Carlton, I guess, is starting to come in forward.
Yeah, there's still a lot of footy to be played. I think last year we sat 7-4 at the 11 round at the halfway, so we're pretty much at the halfway now, and yeah, things can change really quickly. A few injuries, things like that. We lost Cruz last year, so that might have had a big effect on the group and the way the team went in the second half of the year. But I think the belief and the depth in the players that we have, I think that's been probably our greatest strength this year, is the personnel that we've brought into the team, and then, you know, it hasn't had a massive effect on the drop-off. I think the attitude and the individual playing his role and his part for the team has been so critical.
Walker, Henderson, Waite, Cruiser came back, and Waite's obviously going to come back from injury. Is there room for all four down forward?
Yeah, I think there is. You know, the loading of the taller players of the competition has probably increased a fair bit at both ends of the pointy ends of the ground. So trying to look after their loads, you know, week in, week out will be pretty critical for the end of the season. But I suppose it's an interesting one when, you know, about number 1 or 2 in marks inside 50. I think loose ball gets we're first, hard ball gets we're second, and then tackles we're in the top 1 or 2 as well. So we're marking the ball and defending it in our. So it'll be interesting how the effect of. I think we'll probably have to have a look at it. But do we lose? You know, we might mark the ball 1 or 2 more times, but we actually can't tackle the opposition. So we'll have to have a look at the balance of that going forward.
Do you ever feel the need to pull Mitch Robertson aside and temper his game somewhat? I think he almost killed himself a couple of times last week, and he, I suppose he came close to knocking out a couple of, getting himself in trouble with the match review panel with a couple of Brisbane players. His approach to the game he's interesting to watch anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't. When he goes, he certainly goes. He doesn't go half-hearted. So we don't want to. We don't want to change his approach at the football and the man. I think it might be some technical issues there about getting a bit lower and identifying a little bit quicker. But yeah, he's maybe have to watch the way he goes about it at times. But we sort of love that about his game. I think the supporters and the coaching group and the players, it becomes a little bit infectious. It's you get caught up in it and you think, no, don't go. Yep, he's gone. Bang, crash, and yep, he's back up again and away he goes. But the way he goes about his football is there's not many players in the competition that attack it like he does. And yeah, he's a credit to himself the way he's fearless and his approach on the ball. So we don't want to change that really too much. In some technical aspects, yes, but his approach, no.
I think the training at one stage last week when he might have hit himself pretty heavily and tried to pull him off, and Mitch was pushing him off and running off. Did you notice that, or did you? Have you spoken to him about that?
Yeah, he was right. Yeah, he was right to go. So keep going, Mitch. Yep. Yep, he's got one speed. Well, he's actually got two speeds. Go 110% or stop. So yeah, we're just trying to find the balance sometimes there. Maybe at 80 and 20% here and there.
How close is Brock McLean getting back in the side? There's talk that with Curnow and Ellard in the side, sort of similar players probably won't play all three.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's probably a fair observation. Yeah, he won't play this week. Yeah, but he is pushing up and his form's been pretty good. Not so great last week. I think last week against Claremont we had a lot of players down, but the form at VFL level, with the Bull Ants has been outstanding. So, we've got players there that are ready to go. They had a bit of a downer last week against Claremont. Yep. Yeah, good. The tractor's in great. He's in great order and ready to go. We call him that nickname because he just doesn't stop. He just keeps grinding on and pushing, and it was just great to get him back into football. And 13 possessions, a couple of good marks, and just get his feel for the game again. And I think you'll see just keep pushing up his confidence and his, I suppose, performance each week.